After these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, Hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Revelation 7, 1-4. My fellow prophecy student, greetings. The vision of the prophet John in Revelation 7 is evidently a portrayal of events to take place among the people of God before Christ's return. In anticipation of disastrous events to transpire at some point in the future, the Lord sees it fit to secure His people from harm and danger. The means by which their protection is ensured is to put a mark on their foreheads, identifying them as belonging to God. Just as the Lord protected ancient Israel from the 10th plague by putting blood upon every doorpost in Goshen, so He will protect His people from the effects of the many catastrophes in the last days by putting a mark on each one of them. It is interesting to note that according to the prediction in Revelation 7, the sealing of the saints are to immediately precede the release of the winds of strife. 4 mighty angels were seen holding back the winds of the earth until the sealing work is completed. Based on what is said in the urgent appeal from the angel that ascends from the east, the winds of strife were to have grievous consequences for planet Earth whenever they are released. Therefore, in following the narrative development of the prophecy, we should expect to see supernatural manifestations over which human beings have no control. According to the prophet John, 12,000 from each of the tribes of the children of Israel were sealed, totaling 144,000 from 12 tribes. But are we to believe this to be a prophecy of a nation that was officially recognized in 1948? The reference to the 12 tribes of Israel in this prophecy has prompted many evangelical theologians to believe that this nation is still the chosen people of God, and as such will play a major role in the fulfillment of the prophecies of Revelation. But what does the Bible teach? The most pointed remarks concerning the destiny of Israel as the people of God is made in the following parable in Matthew chapter 21. In this parable, Jesus told a story of a householder who planted a vineyard and let it out to a set of husbandmen and went into a far country. When the time of reaping draws near, he sent his servants to the husbandmen to receive the fruits of the vineyard. But the husbandmen treat the servants spitefully. Some were beaten, others were killed. Then afterwards the householder decided to send his son. Beginning from verse 37, the rest of the parable continues thus. But at last he sent unto them his son, saying, They will reverence my son. But when the husbandmen saw the son, they said among themselves, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us seize on his inheritance. And they caught him and cast him out of the vineyard, and slew him. When the Lord therefore of the vineyard cometh, what will he do unto those husbandmen? They say unto him, He will miserably destroy those wicked men, and will let out his vineyard unto other husbandmen, which shall render him the fruits in their seasons. In this parable, Jesus was obviously speaking of what the Jewish nation had done to the prophets before him, and will eventually do to him. God sent his prophets time and time again to call Israel from a life of waywardness to holiness. But instead of heeding the message, they kill many of the prophets, and others they persecute. But in the answer to the chief priests and Pharisees to the question, What will he do unto those husbandmen? They have pronounced their own sentence. In agreeing to the answer given by the Jewish leaders, Jesus made this interesting remark. Therefore I say unto you, the kingdom of God shall be taken from you, and given to a nation bringing forth the fruits thereof. And when the chief priests and Pharisees had heard his parables, they perceived that he spake of them. Matthew chapter 22, and verse 43. Clearly, this is a prophecy of what God will do with regard to Israel. Based on the narrative's development of the parable, the nation of Israel will be replaced as the agent of evangelism to carry forth the gospel message to the world. By crucifying the very person of whom the message of salvation is about, they have disqualified themselves to be its bearer. Therefore, a more fitting nation will be sought, who will bring forth fruit unto righteousness, and thereby fulfill the gospel mission. It is for this reason that the 144,000 was chosen. As Bible students, we need to understand that the choice of Israel as a nation to show forth the praises of God was not done by means of being handpicked. In other words, Israel did not become a nation before they were chosen. The Lord had chosen Israel in Abraham. It was because of Abraham's faith in God why he decided to bless all his children and make him a nation. By choosing Israel, God had intended that they follow in Abraham's footsteps and become friends of God. But for the most part, they became rebellious until they have lost their birthright to a nation who is willing and obedient to God's commands. The sealing of the 144,000 in Revelation 7 is a prediction of the manner in which the parable of the householder will be fulfilled. This group of people is said to be from Israel not because they were born in the nation of Israel, but because they are righteous people and have fulfilled all the essential specifications of being true children of Abraham. In recognition of the notion of what it means to be an Israelite, the Apostle Paul placed on record the following statements. And if ye be Christ, then are ye Abraham's seed, and heirs according to the promise. Galatians 3 and verse 29. Another statement taken from the book of Romans says, For he is not a Jew, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh, but he is a Jew, which is one inwardly, and circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of God. Romans chapter 2, verses 28 and 29. Thus we have a description of the 144,000, the nation who is to bring forth fruit of the Lord's vineyard. Having now been sealed, they can now be entrusted with the same kingdom that was taken from Israel of old, and fulfill the purpose that their ancient counterpart had failed to accomplish. And yes, they did bring forth the fruits thereof. As a result of the end-time ministry of a sealed people, a great multitude from every nation was reaped. Thus the prophet John declared, After this I beheld, and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. Revelation chapter 7 and verse 9. Had ancient Israel done what was needed in order to fulfill God's will for the salvation of the world, they would have produced the same result as prophesied in this verse, because the Lord would have been with them. Therefore, what God was able to accomplish through national Israel, he will accomplish with spiritual Israel, the 144,000. For further end-time studies on the Daniel Revelation prophecies concerning the sealing of the 144,000, download my End-Time Prophecy free book at www.prophecyecourse.com. In the meantime, endeavor to be the best prophecy student you can be. Thanks for watching.